Today we're going to be diving into some cloud gaming news happening all over the place, and we're going to begin with a story on PlayStation Now. As it's been rumored for quite some time, PS Now is supposed to be getting a huge update with Spartacus. That's the codename for the apparent rebrand of PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now to compete with the likes of Game Pass. According to rumors surrounding the project, it is something we should be hearing about real soon directly from PlayStation. But we may not have to wait for that announcement to see some of the effects of Spartacus already take place. In a recent post over on the PlayStation blog, they were discussing Shadow Warrior 3, a title that's set to release March 1st, and it was confirmed that it will be launching day 1 on PlayStation Now. That sort of day 1 launch support on PS Now is extremely rare, and I can only think of 2 other occurrences in which it happened. And in both cases, they were for remasters of older games. First up, Grand Theft Auto 3 Remastered, and then Virtua Fighter 5. To have a title published by a third-party publisher is quite a big deal, and it's also a big IP for Devolver Digital themselves. This may very well be just a taste of what's to come with the full PlayStation Spartacus offering that ends up happening real soon. Before we move on to the next story, I want to pose a question to you all. Do you think PlayStation will offer any of its first-party exclusive titles as a part of its subscription, or will they strictly be making deals with third-party publishers? Let me know what you think down below. But for now, let's move on to the next story, which revolves around a developer being purchased and no longer using the cloud to develop their game. Tencent recently acquired Inflection from Improbable, and they were working on a title called Nightingale. You may recognize it from the Game Awards show, as that's where it was officially revealed. And due to this acquisition, it's undergone some major changes. It's now a more intimate and single-player or small group player experience. It was originally supposed to be a survival crafting game that would be using Improbable's very own spatial OS to enable thousands of players to join a single virtual world. The scope has been significantly reduced, at least when it comes to the multiplayer aspect for sure. Now this is rather disappointing as someone who still wants to see what the cloud can actually provide to gaming. We hear about it so often, but every time it seems like it's just out of reach. The most successful implementation so far seems to be with Microsoft Flight Simulator. And while it would have been nice to see Nightingale's original vision seen through, I have no doubt that they're doing it for the best of the game itself. Inflection's CEO, Aaron Flynn, had the following to say to GameIndustry.biz. "The challenge in our industry is that you look across games that are getting built. There's still so much potential for innovation with what we have. Rarely do we see a new technology that changes everything and makes you say, I can't go back now. Some people call it the color TV moment. There's still a lot of low-hanging fruit, for the lack of a better term, in simple and clever and meaningful design decisions. There's a ton of potential for cloud computing technology, but until it's married to a fantastic design and something people say, well, I couldn't imagine playing a game without this design supported by the technology anymore, probably not going to realize its full potential." Based on that statement, it definitely seems like developing a game with the cloud in mind is a huge undertaking and one that they feel the pressure to actually deliver on. After all, you don't want to be another Crackdown 3. But now it's time we move on to the third and last story of the day, and this one revolves around Stadia. And that's that Stadia will be attending the Google for Games Dev Summit on March 15th. Now before people start getting too excited, I need to make it clear, this is a developer summit. It's going to be extremely technical stuff, and the chances that anything exciting is going to be announced for you, the consumer in particular, is very low. That's not to say that there won't be important news though. There's a very good chance that there will be a focus on how it works when it comes to porting games to Stadia. We've recently seen them talk about the updates they're making in the backend to actually make it so you can develop from anywhere. I'll be definitely keeping an eye out on this to see if any other advancements are made, because once again, if they do make porting a much easier and painless task, there is a good chance we'll see more games arrive on Stadia. Either way, that wraps up this cloud gaming news video. If you enjoyed it at all or found it helpful, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out, and if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. As always, this has been the Virtual Cloud, giving you the latest and greatest on everything cloud gaming related, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.